Hey everybody, it's Jeannie from Jeannie's Palette, and it's another A Common Canvas playlist artist collaboration, and our theme this week is a challenge from our friend Nicole Pro Sparkle Junkie, and that's a 12 Days of Christmas. This playlist may be a little different than some we've done in the past. We're going to publish on one day and we're just going to keep adding to it. So make sure you check out the link in the descriptions to find more videos inspired by the 12 Days of Christmas. Let's get started. Alright, so for my color palette, I'm going to start on the background, of course, with Master's Touch paint, and this is Chrome Oxide green. I want a kind of a vintage vibe. I may end up putting some of this light olive green in there, and I am also going to add some dark titanium white. I'm going to put all that on my palette and get to painting this background. Alright, so we've got all three colors on my little wood palette here, and I'm just going to use a regular flat brush and load up all three colors on there. And then I like to start with my edges, but since I got so much paint on there, I'm going to just start right here and then move in. I already see it is a little dark. Let's go ahead and get our edges done here. I like that color right there for our inner part where our subject matter will be, because we want it to pop right off of the screen, but I want to give it a vintage vibe because I just think this song, I mean, it's an old song, so I would probably have a more vintage look to it when I think about it. My family loves this song. We sing it every Christmas. My extended family. It's a big to-do. It's a tradition, and so I love this song. So I'm going to speed you up here, and we're going to get this canvas painted. And you will see me doing some swoopy type X background. That's the way I like to do some of them when it's a more vintage vibe look. Alright, I finished my background, and then I drew on top of it my subject, and I did it in ink. Probably not a great choice, but I can find a pencil, so we're just going to go with it with what we have here. And I'm going to start with the number 1 because it's kind of behind. So I always tell folks in my paint party classes to start with the most distant thing. So we've already done our background. The next most distant thing is going to be that number 1, and then we just have to decide what color we're going to do it in. Alright, so I think I'm going to use gold, and now it may not cover well. We'll see. This is Dixie Belle Gold Digger Metallic that I'm going to use. I've got kind of a yucky brush here, but it's alright. I'm just using what I've got pulled out here. I'm in a mess most of the time. Just gonna tell you. So you gotta have a steady hand, maybe prop on your canvas if you want. That's okay. I hardly ever use an easel. I don't know, it's just harder for me to do that. But whatever you are used to, get some kind of balance on your hand when you are painting, so we can get all the way to that line. If you do like I did and trace it on, hey, you may just want to draw it and paint it, not draw it. I think this is going to be just fine, but I do want it all going in one direction. I already see that, so we'll see. Let's do it this way for coverage to get to our ink, and then we'll get it on the rest of it in one direction. So we've got our 1 painted on here, and you can see the green coming through a little bit. I'm really okay with that. I think that's going to be a good look for us. I see a little space right here. I need to get a little more paint. But as this dries, we can come back and add more paint if we want, or even get out our palette knife and add a little texture to it. So that's going to be just fine, just like that. Now, I want to work on my pears a bit here. And I'm undecided. I probably am going to put a little bit of gold in them, but I think I want to go for some yellow. And I'm going to let that green shine through that back. I think that's going to be perfect because pears they're not all one color. All right, let's get started. Alright, so I am going to use an angled brush. I got two different yellows on here. Not much difference in the color. The problem was I was running out of my thicker Liquitex paint and that I thought would cover better than this craft paint. So we're going to work with that right now to just put a little bit of yellow on our pears. And just going toward the outline. I do not want to cover up all my green, as I said, but we do want to. And I'm just kind of wispy on it, if that makes sense. The tip end of my brush here. Just getting that pear. Just getting a good highlight. Now, I did what I said we're not supposed to do, right? I'm starting with this foreground one, and I should have started maybe with this one. So we'll come back. It'll be okay. It'll just be a little extra work. But you see what I'm doing right here with this one, right where it would start to bend a little bit. I'm changing the direction that my brush is going, that my strokes are going, and we're coming down a little bit here. And they'll come back and give us some more natural shadows like that. And make it a little darker on the bottom after we get this paint on here. And then we'll work on the other ones. Let me get all the way to that line that I drew. Kind of regretting that. It's okay, right? So we've got that. And then I'm going to go ahead and get my other pears painted, and then we'll come back and work on some shadowing. Okay, so you see with this one, I am coming back in with some dark titanium white while the yellow is still wet, and just pulling that in, trying to cover up my lines, some hesitation lines that I did in drawing, and changing my mind. Yet again, ink is probably not the best choice for your painting on a canvas, but it's okay. Fortunately, latex paint, acrylics paint cover really well, so it's going to be fine. Even though this pear gets a little bit bigger than planned. And then we'll come back in here. I'll lighten that one up a little bit. Just adding a different dimension to it with the dark titanium white. Not trying to cover up completely, just bringing in more different colors and shading. I think that's going to look great. So we'll come back with our yellow on this one. See, the green pops through. That's okay. And I'll get that. And I have a little stem drawn there for this one, but we'll just go ahead and cover it up so that it looks all right. And we'll just paint right back over it when we get ready to put our stem in. Don't be afraid to cover up the lines, especially when they're in ink and you can clearly see them still. It'll be okay. I'll get that. Yellow is a very hard color to cover anything, and but since these need a little green to pop through for the look that I'm going for, it's going to be just fine. But yellow, usually I say paint whatever you have yellow white first, and that's for making sure you have good coverage of whatever you're trying to paint. But this, we want that green to pop through a little bit, so it's okay dokie. And then we'll get that. we got them roughed in pretty well, I'm going to grab a little bit of that lighter green that we used earlier in the background. And let's come right in here on our pears. Let's just get them on this side. Maybe the light's coming from this direction and it would be a little bit darker under here. And the paint is still wet. That's just fine. Wait, it's much easier to shadow with when your paint is still damp. I will say with using these thicker paints, it's a little bit harder for me. I do like to water them down a little bit sometimes, just put a little bit of water on my brush and then try to do my shadowing if I have a thicker paint like these nicer paints are. It just makes it easier. So we'll just add in some here and there, just wherever it looks like it needs it actually. So like this up here, you know, this pear, I kind of got wonky with it. I don't know. It's just even a different pear. It still tastes good, right? It still tastes good. And he's kind of leaning this way. I might grab a little bit of that dark color in there too, and just kind of. I don't want it to make it the same color as the background though. I just want it darker there. I'll just do that. We can cover it with our other paint. We'll put some more yellow on it here in a minute. Just getting kind of my outline again, and then we'll just pull it down. This brush might be a little bit too big for what I'm trying to do. Just real wispy there. Trying to get it to like that little pear there. Just defining our pears. Dividing out the 3 pears from the partridge and the pear tree, right? This little pear's already got picked, huh? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come on in with that darker color right here. This may be a longer video since I'm giving a little bit of explanation for each thing. If you're trying to learn a little bit about shading or anything like that. And again, this video is part of a Common Canvas playlist, and our guest host this time is Nicole Pro Sparkle Junkie, who gave us the challenge to do something inspired by the 12 days of Christmas. So we've got that right there. Let me round out this here just a tiny bit. And I'm going to come in here just to bring a little, my brush is almost dry, but I want to bring in a little bit of shadow without a whole lot of paint. Hope that makes sense. On there. Just getting it in there like that. And then we'll come back and work on, see, I'm just blending it up, but I'm going to add some yellow to it too. Alright, so I got a little lip on my pear here. I'm not feeling that, so we're going to still round that out a little bit more. So that pear doesn't have a lip on it. Alright, so we've got that. Now, I'm going to come back with my yellow. I'm going to use the same brush. I'm going to wipe it off a little bit. And then we're going to come back to our yellow. And we're going to put some more of that in there. So I'm going to start on this side that I want to be lighter. And as we go back, and we'll be giving out a paint, and that's fine. I'm just getting our swoopy. Whoopsie, see, I got a lot of green right there, but it's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. Get back in there. See it coming together? It's coming together pretty well. And then we'll do the same to this one because we don't want this dark green pear, even though pears can be green. Right? I'll add a little more yellow in it here. Get that toned down a little bit. We just don't want green to overtake our painting here. And so this is working out good. Well, got hiccups. So there we go. I'd love to know if you paint along with us today. Now this playlist will be expanding, as I alluded to earlier, and it may actually end up having some crafts in it and not just painting. So we'll see how that goes. So you may find a variety of things in this particular playlist. So we're just working on a little bit of shading right now, and I think that's going to be beautiful. We'll get a little bit more yellow on the top of that. And look, you know, I love to get my fingers in it. So I think our fingers can do an awful lot of beautiful blending. That's just me. You do you. Whatever works for you. I think that's looking pretty good. And we've got kind of like a shadow of this pear on that one now. So let's kind of, there we go. Get our shading a little bit more so it's not so obvious, right? That pear looks perfect. And these two need some additional work. So we're going to come up here on the top of this one and just bring it on down. And yellow, again, is a very hard color. I probably should put some white in it. That might help a lot with this. And it would give some extra highlights as well. I've been using the Master's Touch paints a lot lately, and I don't know, I'll say like probably over the last couple of years. But they do not dry as quickly, and they do have like a sticky feeling to them. So you know, I'm not sure what's all in them, but it makes it a little challenging to do shadowing sometimes, I think. And I'm just kind of, I think that looks pretty good right there. I'll come back to this one that's on the front. Look at that. And then we'll make it, we'll kind of round it right here. I'm okay with that green popping back through right there because it would be a little bit darker in one spot. I think it's good. I like those a lot. Now, when I look into my camera, I see that I do need a little bit more light on this side. So I do think I'm going to add a tiny bit of white. Alright, so I am going to use, I end up using some Craft Smart white latex paint because I can't find my Master's Touch. Now I've got a lot of it off of my brush, and I'm just going to pull it down here. It's almost a dry brush, Still got to add a few details to the pears. Like I said, I did not clean my brush in between so that anything that was on there would stay. Now I'm just kind of feathering it there. I am a self-taught pretty much artist. I never had any classes or anything. I do like to watch other people, but most things I do by what feels right. Got a little more yellow and add that on top because we don't want a white pear. I mean, you might, but that's not my goal right here. And while I was looking, it did start to dry some because, you know, latex paint, acrylic paint dries quickly. So there we go. Just get our shading. I'm going to come back with my finger, my thumb. And try to blend it a little bit more. And I may end up putting a little bit more green in there. I just feel like it's just too much of a line there. And we'll just keep layering until we get the color that how we want it to be. It's all about your layering, pretty much. And see, I don't clean my brush in between. So I want all the colors to just pop and look so good in there. I like it. I think it's looking better and better all the time. And let's come and work on this one a little bit. And we'll do the same thing at the top with our white. And you see how it's more paint toward the edge when you angle your brush down and kind of go on the side of it when you're painting. That helps a lot. Gives you like a chiseled edge to it or something. And see, I didn't add paint there, so now I'm going to add, I think, a little bit more yellow in here. So just adding, keep adding layers. I may need to get a smaller, I will actually, a little bit, get a smaller detailed brush there. I'm almost dry now and coming back into my shadow. So let's work on this one a little bit. And you see me pulling some of that paint off on my palette after I load up. So now I'm just I'm leaving some of that white on this front one. Oh, I didn't wipe that one off, so you see what happened. So then I have to come back in with a yellow. That's the good thing about, another good thing about acrylic paints. They are forgiving and just paint right over it. Just keep on going. Add another layer, right? Just add another layer. Get that on there. Wipe some off. Come up from the bottom here. And just define our pear a little bit more. Look at there. It's getting there. Going back to the finger shading. I do find that my fingers do the best shading for me. And see how that just wiped right off there. Worry about getting some of that back in there. Okay, now I'll scrub a little yellow, pull that back on pear. There we go, just bring it down here a bit. Don't want a stark line. Okay, grab a little yellow. So this pear, this side of this pear is kind of bugging me quite a bit. I don't know, we got a warped look to us here, so I may bring it up a little bit here because I'm not liking this shape. Not liking the shape of it, but all right, let's grab a little bit. See, this is drying on the palette. Got my ceiling fan going. Add a little bit of that lighter green. Tone down our yellow. And what we can do here, let me get that darker green. I may need to get a different brush or wash my brush. Let me get that darker. Just show you how to fix some of these mistakes. And then we may just come back in here with our gold and make the number 1 a little bit bigger. So there's your shading 101, right? Just getting rid of some yucky edges. Just getting rid of those. Let me bring a little bit more of that up in here. I feel like you just covered that up. Yep, I did. But this is what we do. We just keep on layering, 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 layering. Okay, now I do want to do something to this edge here. Just like that. That's where I want my pear to be, not this part. I want that part gone. So I can come back and I'll work on that. For now though, let's finish up here and then we'll move on. Okay, so let's move on a little bit. I did want to come back to this number 1 and and work on that a tiny bit. So we're going to work on that, and I'm going to use a smaller flat brush. I got a lot of gold paint on this pad here. Let's see here. Let's put this over here. And I have opened up, and this is going to be a different gold. It is metallic, but it's Deco Art. And we're going to, I don't know, it just looks a little different than the other one. Just bring that in there. Just to add a little sparkle. It seems a little more sparkly than the Gold Digger. But I do like that Dixie Belle paint covers really well, even like your metallics. What you can see, this is covered well. It covered that green pretty good. So now I'm just touching up. And I did fix down here where I had tried to change the shape of my pear, but in doing so I had to adjust over on the side too. So when you fix a problem, sometimes it's not just one little spot. You just have to expand your area of fixing. So we'll get this in here. Bring that right on up to the pears. I don't like really using small brushes. I think that's harder. I don't know. They just don't seem to take the paint as well or something. So we'll get that little one fixed up, and we'll come back and move on. Alright, so we've got that one done. Now I could come back in with that darker green and go right around this edge and make more of a shadow on my one if I want. But we're going to move on to our Partridge. I've lost the lid to my paint. And, and we're going to work on that. And then we might come back and revisit the one, making it look a little bit darker. I do want to say a little bit about shadowing. Here, make sure you decide where you want your light source to come in from, and that will be very helpful in, you know, making it look a little more realistic. Now I've got some red ochre on my palette right here, and then I'm going to grab a little bit of, what is this? This is a craft paint. It's earth brown. Put that right there. And I've got some of that dark titanium white already on there, but we're going to grab a little bit more, I think, because I'm going to need some, you know, different shades on our Partridge. I may have just a little too big of a brush, but I'm going to use this angled brush. Yep, it's still got other paint on it. I'm just going to grab like that edge right there for now. And then we're just going to come on here and do our outline of our Partridge. I keep wanting to come up from the bottom, but it really does, in the long run, it'll look better if I came up through the top. But hey, let's just go for it. And get our bird. And here, where our beak's gonna be, I'm gonna leave that little light part right there because I want it to be lighter. I'll just get this part. And there we go. I'm gonna grab a little bit. Oh, it started drying. That has started drying. Get some of that in there for some more different colors shading. I don't know that I've ever even seen a partridge. I looked at some graphics. This looks like the general shape. I think they have a little thingy on top of their head, don't they? A little. So I might have to add that. All right. And get our general shape and just keep layering our colors. To give him or her a dimension. There's supposed to be some secret meaning behind the partridge and a pear trees are the 12 days of Christmas, and as best my recollection, I think the partridge is the baby Jesus. Is that right? Let me grab some of this dark titanium white. I got a little too much on there. Let's see, her little chest might be. And again, this is it needs to be done when it's wet, or you get kind of a different color instead of shading. And obviously she's got her little head turned that way. And so we've kind of defined our body right here. Let's fix up, let's tidy up our edge. That was my battery was about to expire. So I've grabbed a smaller brush here. Oh, and I'm working with too many things up here as obstacles, and it did start drying more while I was plugging in everything. So we're just going to take that dark titanium white and just defining the front of our bird a little bit more. Very lightly. I don't have a whole lot of paint on my brush. But you see, can you tell that it's looking like it's feathering here. And then I blended a little too much right there, but that's okay. Take that again, get a little bit off. And it's starting to come together. Let me go right on in here and get that part that I had planned to make lighter. And then we'll just use that dark titanium white there. Could put some real white in there if we want. You know, just layering, right? Layering. I'm going to grab some of that red ochre before it gets dry. Let's do something about our beak here. Our beak. I'm going to come back up here. Get some of my brown. And do that the same way we did the dark titanium white. It's kind of a reverse here. Because I still want this wing to, on this side of her body, to be darker than the other. Oh, I think it's turning out pretty good. Pretty good. I got my brown. I'll go right here. I need to add a little bit of black in there. We got that. I'm going to add some more. The dark titanium white. It's really kind of a khaki color. Just right in here. Maybe a little bit more coming up on her neck. Turn that fan off because it is causing some troubles drying out my paint too fast. Oh, I love it. I do love it. I do think I need a little bit of black. Let's add just a little bit more of the dark titanium white right there. I think I'm going to take a little bit more, kind of flatten out my brush a little bit. I'm going to come up here and just try to give it a little bit of definition there. Just make it look more like a partridge. All right, now let's... Oh, we got to do our stems. I was about to be done here. Let's do the stems. And then we'll move on. I'm going to keep those same colors on my brush. I'm going to grab some of that darker green that we had. Oh, this is too big of a brush, I think. Just kind of get our stems. Just like that. Let's maybe make this one go this way. There we go. Now, I think I need a smaller brush here. I'm going to grab some of that lighter green that has really started to dry out. Let's get where we broke our stem off, right? And a little bit of light here. Just a little bit. Think it's too much, then you just grab a little bit more of the dark paint and we just layer it back in there. You can also grab just a tiny bit of the brown. And then we'll just keep layering. We'll get more green. A little more green on there. And that's that darker green now. Right there. I'm going to just grab a little bit more of the light. Just keep layering it, right? There we go. So it looks like that's kind of like where the end of our stem would be. This one's kind of pointing towards us, and the other ones are going to be pointing away, so we won't see that part. Oh my goodness. Looks fantastic. Now I do want to take a little bit of white and go up here with my liner brush as well on our partridge. Let me wipe my little brush here. And we're going to put some white up there. The regular white. Look how look how it's already drying. And then we'll add that right up here. There. Might have got a little too much brown on there. That's all right. Get out of the lines there a little bit. And I don't know, I mean, I don't have a whole lot of room to do that little thingy, so I might just leave it off. And this will be our pear. I mean, our partridge. Doesn't have to be like all the others, does it? I'll just get some more white in her little breast area. Just look at that. I think it's looking pretty good. You see what I did? I came from the bottom. I should have come from the top. That. I don't know where this little gnat came from. We got a little. Should be cool enough. That should be gone by now. Right. So we're just getting some highlights of white here where we already kind of feathered her a little bit. Let's get that up there so it's not so much of a line. Just patting basically the color down. My goodness, she needs a foot. She needs to be standing on some feet. We could just go on and on, right? I know that. We're going to finish her up here. So I'm going to take my red ochre and just kind of come down. Oh, what is wackadoodle with my brush now? Got something clinging off of it. Probably because this paint is just drying so quickly. How about that? Maybe the back one goes a little bit further. Oh, I love her. She's looking pretty good, isn't she? Make that a little bit more definition right there. Oh my goodness. All right, almost done. Just a few more finishing touches. All right, I just have a tiny bit of black. I've wasted quite a bit of paint. Look at all that dark titanium white. I'm going to grab this little liner brush. I'm going to kind of roll it in the black. So I got some bristles that want to stick out. And we don't need that happening to us. So I'm going to now, we'll work on our eyes and our final detail on our partridge. So just going to give her a little eye, maybe right about here. Oh, do I not have any paint on my brush? Should I wipe it all off? I think that'll be plenty big right there. And then we'll define her beak. A little bit there. I kind of want to just a little bit of a line, not much. This brush is so wackadoodle. It's time to throw it away, I think. And this one's even worse. It was even worse. Oh my word. So I'll have to do some blending up here for sure with that black. Just think sometimes giving a tiny bit of an outline defines it a little better. I didn't used to ever put an outline on paintings, but now I do. I tried to match the shadow a whole lot better. I don't know. I just think it does something. It adds something to it. You don't outline the whole thing, just random. With a better brush than this. And it's not the brush's fault, it's that I haven't taken very good care of it. Just making those feet a little bit darker here. And then we can, I do think I should probably add a little bit of an outline to my number. About that. Not a lot. Well, it is just paint. We can paint over it if we hate it, right? I'm at an awkward angle here. And I didn't really want to outline the whole thing. Just random. But my random is turning into the whole thing. So I'll get that done. I don't want to, I think my pears are still a little bit wet. And I don't want to do anything else to them. I think they're perfect. It's terrible. I think they're perfect. I don't want to do anything else to them. I may tone down this black a tiny bit. I need a better... would like to have maybe just a tiny bit of an outline on these pears, but I think I'm going to go with the white as a little outline instead of the black. You know what? I think I'm not. I'm just going to leave them. I'm going to cover that up a little bit and see what we have. Well, I may have gone too far with the background. I thought it needed something, and then I started adding color, and then I started adding gold, and then I started toning down. So this is what we're going to end up with. I think it is pretty. Oh, let's bring her in close for you. Oh my goodness. Our feathers our little wing might need a little more detail. But that's what I did with the background. Just used my palette knife to add those same colors that I had in the background, but more independent of one another. And that's what we have. I think it looks great. I like it. I'm happy with it. Let me know if you try this, or if you have enjoyed this tutorial on shading. All right, check out the description for the link to the playlist so you can see everyone else. We'd love it if you would subscribe to our channels and come back and see us sometime. All right, ta-ta for now.